Hey guys, welcome back. I am ready to do another video. And if you're new, welcome as well. I'm just really excited about today's video and I'm glad you all have found my channel. But today we're going to sit down and I can't believe I'm filming this video and that I've been on a weight loss journey now for a little over a year. Feels like I just started and I've lost over 80 pounds, which is crazy to me, but I'm so excited to share, my story with all of you today. I feel like I'm just a girl that decided to get healthy and I didn't care how long it would take, but I just knew it was time. And, like I said, I've been on this journey for a little over a year and I can say that I'm loving, all the changes I've made and, the new healthy habits, I'm loving those and my life just looks so different and I feel like it's for the better. But, at some point in our lives, we all struggle with body image and we want to be, that perfect weight. We stress about, are we eating too much? Everything that we're eating, we overanalyze and how our clothes fit. And I mean, I tug at my clothes all day and it's something I struggle with, for most of my life. And I even still struggle with it today after losing 80 pounds in this past year. Since I've lost weight, I've had friends and, family members and coworkers come up to me and just ask, what are you doing to lose? Like, how much are you eating? And are you working out? How are you feeling? You must feel like a completely new person. And I really do struggle with that answer because I think weight loss is a touchy topic and I struggled with weight for over 30 years and I even struggle recording this video because I don't want you to compare my chapter 12 with your chapter 1 if you're just starting. And what I mean by this is we are all guilty of comparing ourselves to others. And I completely understand we are all in different phases of our lives and we say beauty is supposed to be skin deep, but getting healthy to me doesn't mean you're just changing your jean size. It's about working on yourself from the inside and out. And that's what I've done over the past year. And even after losing 80 pounds, I'm still a major work in progress. And I will be for quite some time because starting and sticking and maintaining weight loss is going to be a constant battle. But the one thing I'm very proud of is that I just started. And so if you're ready to take charge and start your weight loss journey, I've compiled some tips for you today that I think you're really going to like. And, but first, maybe let me give a little background on how I started my journey. And I feel like I started my journey just like each and every one of you. I've started and then I've stopped so many times. Or I started and was just so restrictive that I ultimately couldn't sustain it and I wasn't happy. And I knew I couldn't sustain that. And, the only difference this time I feel like is that I just haven't stopped, a year in and I'm as committed as I was on day one. And even though I failed so many times in the past, I kept trying because I just knew one of these days it was going to stick and I was going to get it right. Because with all those failures, I feel like I learned so much about what has worked for me, or ultimately didn't work. What are the things I could stick to, and then the others that just impeded on my progress. You know, I took all of those failures and I turned them into lessons, and I really think that is why I finally was able to stick to a weight loss journey for over a year. Um, I say with failure comes growth, and I didn't really understand that until recently, and I kept trying. I tried it all. And I accepted the help and the encouragement because if you have that right mindset and a plan for yourself, nothing will get in the way of your journey. And it just finally clicked. And when I look back on that version of myself that so desperately wanted to lose weight, it's all I thought about. I wanted to get healthy and I hated going to the doctor because my blood pressure was so high and the numbers of my blood work were awful. And even the shame and the guilt I felt on a daily basis because I just couldn't figure out how to start was starting to creep up and I wanted to see change so badly. It consumed my thoughts for way too long. And I think at some point, also my level of desperation just really changed. In some ways, it just wasn't funny anymore. And maybe that's not the right word to use, but I've always been, the heavier friend. I still competed in races. I was very active and nobody judged me for my weight, but as I got older and had a better understanding of what those numbers in my blood work look like, or when I'm waking up every day with like severe headaches and eyesights were blurry and no energy, my mind starts saying enough is enough. And, So many times in my past, I would do these massive diets that were so restrictive and workouts as if I was training to be competing in the Summer Olympics. Why did I have to work out 2 to 3 times a day? That's madness. And then I would weigh myself every day. And if that number didn't change on the scale, and I would just think, okay, I need to get in a bigger calorie deficit. I need to cut out some foods, but I could only cut back so much. And, I would have so much guilt over the smallest snack. And I'd go to bed hungry thinking that's how I want to lose weight. I was always so miserable, and things that even though they were healthy, I could barely finish. Like, this is not how I wanted to get healthy. And I would just stop and then rebound, and it would be so bad. I binge everything and the weight would come back on and come back on times two. I was a hot mess. And, over time, I realized that just as much as my intentions may have been on what I thought was going to get the weight loss off the quickest, because that's always what we wanted, off the quickest, or hit that certain number on the scale, that was going to make me a completely different person. And I was all of a sudden going to love my body, and I'm no longer going to be that fat friend. That's not a healthy mindset. I needed to do the complete opposite of everything I've done in the past, and no longer hate my body, but learn to love it. And I think once you shift to that, you start to look at ways to make improvements for the long run. And so I had a doctor's appointment on a Friday in March of 2023, and I started that night. I didn't wait until Monday or, start of the month. Something clicked after that conversation, and I walked away with one word stuck in my head, and that was simple. It was no longer, the same advice I've been given so many times in the past, and that was eat less and work out more. Intermittent fasting, try it. And that would be the theme of this video, and how you can finally start a successful weight loss journey. That is, keep it all simple. So tip number one, if you're trying to change how you eat, please start small and keep it simple. Optimize. Don't restrict foods. Be very patient in this part of your weight loss journey. If you know that this is going to be a big area for change, take your time. Do not rid your cabinets of everything you think is bad. Do not go to that food store and stock up on everything that you've been trained to think is healthy. You don't need to cut anything out at this point. You don't even have to say, like, I'm never going to eat Chinese or fast food again. You don't have to be that strict. But if you're like me, you'll need to make subtle life changes. And I promise you that slowly over time, you'll notice a difference. Did I need to see how I ate to see the changes I wanted? Yes. But that doesn't mean I have to cut everything out and, only eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. So what I would recommend is to write down all the foods you enjoy, everything you enjoy to eat, and then just make some minor changes to add nutritional value to it, or cut your portions in half to start. Find those areas to make just small changes, and don't cut everything out. If you love to eat out or get takeout, learn to make it at home. I did this with Chick-fil-A. I now make a really good chicken sandwich. I also throw some sweet potato fries in my air fryer, and I just have a nice fun meal. And I love shrimp fried rice, so I learned to make one at home, and I think it might be better than my local Chinese restaurant. Then after time, this becomes like just part of your weight loss journey, and it'll become fun and easy. And you will eventually start to try new foods and test out new recipes. So then tip number two, repeat your meals while trying some new things when starting. Despite, widespread healthy eating wisdom, they would tell us variety isn't necessarily the spice of life when it comes to diet. And I'm living proof. I eat pretty much the same thing, well, nearly every day, breakfast and lunch. And if you ever wondered what eating the same foods every day does to overall health, well, it's not as bad as you may think. Plus, if you're filling your diet up with the same foods that are considered healthy options, then you're already setting yourself up for success. This is where having a few staple meals on rotation can really help you, especially in the beginning. Eating the same thing every day will definitely take the guesswork out of choosing a meal, and it provides that routine that you need. Going back to the word of the video, simple. Can it get any easier than just jotting down all the foods that your favorite foods that you love and creating weekly meal plans? Not prepping, just a plan. And I bet you'll no longer feel overwhelmed, and then you'll start mixing in some fun new foods throughout the month, while repeating your faves. Now, tip number 3, do not make any foods off limits. Well, that might not be 100% true for me, but when starting, it shouldn't be all or nothing. Eventually I want to get better at self-discipline and cleansing, and that there's nothing I can avoid. But in the beginning, I felt like I had to avoid a couple foods because I knew I couldn't have just one and end up eating the entire bag. But as I started to build healthier relationships with foods, I was no longer eating that entire pint of ice cream in one sitting after a big dinner. This is a lifelong battle, but I no longer feel that guilt and shame. And if I have a cookie or a couple pieces of candy. Tip number 4, there are so many different ways to lose weight. You just have to find the one that's best for you. I always say plan for that 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, and a year, and then just keep repeating it. If you want to do keto or carnivore, intermittent fasting or paleo, who am I to sit here and tell you what you should and shouldn't do? But really, it's all about calories in and calories out, and also prioritizing protein and fiber. Not everyone is the same, and trust me on that. I feel like I've tried them all, but one thing I've come to realize is that I personally don't want to only stick to one thing for the rest of my life. And for the latest new diet trend, there'll be another one right behind it months later, and you'll be stuck in this constant cycle of just thinking that that diet is better than that diet. And right now you just have to keep it simple. I just learned to make the foods I enjoy with more nutritional value. It's that simple. Tip number 5, and this is going to be my last one, and I think it's an important one, and that's get moving. Research all your options. Figure out what you like. If you like to just walk, walk. Make a list of all the categories. And if you haven't worked out in a while, that's fine. Take the time to try and learn and figure out what you like, because you want to find something you'll stick to and then mix in some new things. Maybe you learn you like classes, or you just want to strength train. Maybe buy a plan if you want to, but try it all, enjoy it. There's so many free videos online, and you can also go to Pinterest. That's where I got some dumbbell workouts and some things for resistance training. Maybe it's okay if you just want to walk, just walk. Try Pilates. Slow steps, small progress, but enjoy this part of the journey and keep it simple to start. Just establish a routine and stick to it, and then have a specific plan. I say, don't say you're going to work out 3 days a week. I think you should pick specific days of the week and plan them out. And it's going to be hard, but you have to keep showing up. And I remember there was a local med spa at the gym about week 1, and they were giving out, free B12 shots. And I grabbed, one of their shirts, and on the back of it, it said, invest in yourself. And I feel like that's been my motto since I saw that. Your health is your greatest investment. So then what was my specific goal? I was doing daily walks, and I was trying out strength training. And now I'm a year in, and I'm ready to finally set my weight loss goal at 100 pounds, and I want to increase muscle and strengthen my core. But I'm learning every day and just trying to evolve. And that is exactly what you need to do. And you just need to learn and then evolve. When I first started, I had a gym membership, and keep in mind, I kind of know my way around the gym a little bit, but I wanted to relearn proper technique and form so I didn't hurt myself. So while I was doing my daily walks, I met with a personal trainer one day a week, just so he could show me the proper form, technique, build a plan. And then I did 3 days without him. So I was working, doing strength training 4 days a week. It was simple, but yet a very challenging workout plan. And I actually loved it. And I kept showing up every day for 6 months. But now I make a couple of changes to it just to challenge myself. But there's no perfect routine. And I still love learning and researching on ways that I can improve my core strength. And I also at one point replaced a day of my daily walks with swimming. But I kept mapping out my days, and I kept showing up. And I also prioritize rest and recovery, which I've never done in the past. And I enjoy my self-care Sundays now. But in the beginning, simply starting is going to be the hardest part of your journey. And you should think about where you want to be, in a week, in a month, 6 months, in a year, like I said before. And you may disagree, but when you're first starting out, that feeling of being healthy really outweighs that number on the scale. And eventually the shame of making bad choices slowly went away week after week because I was making healthy choices and finally moving in the right direction. I was able to stop my blood pressure medicine within 2 months of starting to lose weight. That was a huge win for me. So, my advice is when this video ends, say to yourself, I'm starting right now. Keep it simple and keep showing up for yourself every day. You deserve it. There will be tough days, but try to push through. And you're probably wondering why I have not talked about Mounjaro up until this point, because I want you to know I use that as a tool. It's not the main reason I've lost over 80 pounds. And that's okay if you disagree with that, it's fine. But what Mounjaro has allowed me to do is all of the tips I just talked about in this video, but without the constant thoughts of foods or my inability to feel full, regardless of how much I was eating. It gave me that time I needed to heal my relationship with food and just identify my binge eating triggers. And I never had, complete food suppression while taking Mounjaro on any dose, or the ability to sit down with a big plate and just eat half of it. I still had to figure out my daily calories and how much protein to eat, and then map out my meals based off of that to be able to hit all of my calories for that day. I never struggled to get my calories in, nor did I experience any major side effects that hindered any of my workouts. I think it was because I was eating in my range and I didn't go up a dose every month. I just allowed my body time to adjust. And then when my doctor and I felt like it was time to move up, we did. And if you want to know a little bit about, what doses I was on at different times throughout the year and how much weight I lost, I'm currently editing that video now, and it's going to be out in the next like 2 days. So subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. But I hope you enjoyed my video, and just decide today is the day you're going to start, because it goes by so quick. Once you have that solid routine and you just find joy in the decisions you're making, like it flew by. You also build a good support system and keep showing up for yourself. Invest in yourself. I would love to hear if this video has helped you identify, areas that you could use to finally start your weight loss journey. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.